Hi, I'm Rear Admiral Dan May, the Director of Reserve and Training for the Coast Guard, and I want to talk about our modernization effort within the Reserve Forces known as the Reserve Forces Readiness System, or RFRS. If you saw our recent edition of the Reservist magazine, you probably read a little bit about how we are modernizing our Reserve Forces organization right along with our other efforts within the Coast Guard. If not, I urge you to check it out. Now please let me share with you a few of my thoughts on our reserve modernization efforts. First, I have to go back to the mid-1990s, when we eliminated separate reserve units and integrated our reserve personnel with our active duty component. We did not provide our operational commanders, now responsible for both their active duty and reserve members, with the necessary resources to adequately manage their reserve forces. While we recognize this shortcoming, we simply expected existing resources and our newly established ISE support personnel to fill this gap, along with the many other support functions they provided to the operational commanders. It was not the way to ensure the maximum readiness of our reserve forces, and we soon learned this the hard way after 9/11. I experienced this firsthand myself as an operational group commander immediately following September 11. One of the very first things I did was mobilize nearly 50 of my reserve personnel, yet I had no dedicated resources to properly accomplish this effort, as well as the flow of my reserve forces for the next several years as they constantly moved from the CELRES on and off of active duty. Fully recognizing this gap within our operational construct, the reserve program has constantly looked for the means and opportunity by which to correct this organizational flaw. Well, Coast Guard modernization now provides us with that opportunity. Disestablishment of the ISEs and the MLCs allows us to now deliver the resources to manage our reserve forces for the operational commanders who really need them. This is the very essence of RFRS, and it is great news for every operational commander out there. This is all about pushing resources out to the pointy end of the spear to enhance mission execution. Once RFRS is completed over the next couple of years, nearly 100 billets will move to the sectors and districts for direct reserve support and readiness. To provide the necessary resources to accomplish RFRS, we are sourcing the required positions in the field with our full-time support billets, known as FTS billets. Many of our 536 FTS billets, which are separately funded by our AFC 90 reserve appropriation, have been moved around the organization over the years, with many of these billets no longer providing any support to our reserve program. As part of RFRS, we are realigning these billets back to the purpose for which they were established. Most of these positions are in the support and training fields, and while I understand the loss of these billets creates a gap, realignment of these billets is the right thing to do to support our reserve forces, and most importantly, a required action if we intend to pass an audit of our AFC 90 account to clearly show the appropriate funds for our reserve forces is being properly expended. Most of these FTS billets will be filled with reserve program administrators, RPAs, or with personnel trained to manage our reservists. Now that was something I wish I had back when I was a group commander following September 11th. Thus, RFRS provides not only the personnel resources needed by the operational commander to manage their reserve forces, it also anticipates these personnel would have the appropriate skills, knowledge, and experience to properly accomplish this important mission. I like to think of RFRS this way. It is putting the right people with the right skills in the right place within the organization. Once RFRS is fully completed in 2012, our organization will finally have the right organizational structure to ensure the maximum readiness of our reserve forces. That's what RFRS is all about, getting the right resources out to the field to support and manage our reserve forces to enhance mission execution. And the benefit to all of our reserve forces will be improved readiness and a greater capacity to meet the many demands we've asked of and continue to ask of our reserve. Having the right resources to support you is really the key, and RFRS will do that for us. So for all the reservists out there, this is truly a significant organizational change that will surely benefit you for as long as you serve in the Coast Guard. I hope this information will help you better understand this portion of our modernization efforts. Thank you, and Semper Paratus.